Shareholders said company reforms benefit tens of millions in costs. Now they have to prove it when plaintiffs' lawyers in a spin-off in shape towards Pinterest NYSE, PINS, Inc. board members requested for approval in their $5.4 million price request ultimate April. They told the Decide they deserved 2 times their lodestar payments due to the fact they'd obtained widespread corporate governance reforms that would make the business enterprise greater, various and inclusive, improving its long-term fee for shareholders. In an order issued on Thursday, U.S. District Judge William Alsup of San Francisco informed the corporations to show it. Alsup granted final approval to the agreement, wherein Pinterest has agreed to dedicate $50 million to numerous diversity initiatives that vest the board with ultimate obligation for both improving Pinterest's corporate lifestyle and assuring that the online picture sharing carrier offers users extra numerous responses to their search queries. The judge presented Cohen Milstein Sellers and Toll, Wren Public Law Group, Bottini & Bottini, and Weiss Law $2.5 million in charges, about $200,000, much less than their lodestar billings and less than one-half of what they requested. But that award may work up if plaintiffs' attorneys can display Alsup over the subsequent 2 years that Pinterest is dwelling up to the settlement and that the reforms shareholders acquired inside the derivative deal have resulted in an real advantage to the corporation. To that cease, the approval order requires Cohen Milstein and the opposite corporations to employ lawyers to implement the settlement phrases and police the agency. Alsup directed shareholders to file biannual reports documenting how plenty development has really been made, or not made, in reaching the goals laid out inside the settlement agreement. If he likes what he sees over those years, Alsup stated, he will grant greater costs to shareholder counsel. I reached out to both plaintiffs' attorney Julie Reiser of Cohen Milstein and Pinterest suggest Boris Feldman of Freshfields Bruckhaus Derringer, but neither provided comment on the extremely uncommon approval order, the primary, as a long way as I recognize, wherein a choose has partly conditioned charges in a derivative case on the success of company governance reforms. Feldman stated the same component at a May 26 very last approval, listening to telling Alsup that he become now not aware about some other spin-off case wherein the charge award changed into contingent on future events. Alsup has been leery of the fee of the Pinterest governance reforms, given that shareholder legal professionals first requested for initial approval of the settlement bill because the first derivative deal to require a company board to supervise audits of the corporation's variety and inclusion efforts ultimate November. My colleague Jody Godoy included the initial approval listening to Alsup oversaw last January, in which the judge said shareholder legal professionals too regularly tout cosmetic enhancements after which trip into the sundown, without assuring that they've finished any real trade. Alsup changed into specifically concerned in this example due to the fact Pinterest's board had already followed several guidelines supposed to improve corporate culture earlier than shareholders settled the derivative healthy. The board brought in Wilmer Cutler Pickering Hale and Dorr to conduct an inner research in 2020, after high-ranking ladies on the business enterprise advanced with allegations of pervasive race and gender discrimination. Following a 6-month probe, the agency said it'd, among other things, revamp education, set new range desires and partner with the NAACP to create an inclusion advisory council. Shareholder legal professionals persuaded the Decide to grant preliminary approval in February, arguing that their proposed settlement delivered substantially to the board's own tasks by, for example, requiring the business enterprise to make investments $50 million in range packages and imposing oversight duty at the board itself. Plaintiffs' legal professionals sounded comparable issues in April, when they moved for a $5.4 million price award. That quantity, they stated, changed into most effective 10.75% of the $50 million Pinterest had pledged to spend on company governance. At the very last approval hearing remaining month, the choose made it clear that he could base charges on lodestar billings, now not the $50 million budgeted for reforms. There's no money converting fingers here, he advised Reiser of Cohen-Milstein. That's what issues me. And they are saying they may allocate, inside the future $50 million, over 10 years.